Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Agyantimtasya Gyananjanashalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadanti Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuddhapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnava Shri Rupam Sahajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sachivam Sadhvetam Savadrutam Krishna Setam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Mastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishvanu Sutta Devi Brahma Vanchakalpatriyascha Kilpasidhavevacha Patitana Pavnebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshtarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasi Gopak Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Kakuti Varchanam Pangaluna Yategrim Yat Kirpatam Mandashi Guru Tetaram Paramanda Manushitanesha Hari Om Tassa Narayana Namaskritya Naram Jevanattam Devim Sasvitya Santato Javadurya Nashta Prasham Durashim Tita Bhakti Ruktitam Shloki Bhakti Bhavati Nestiki. Okay. So right, Prabhu, nice introduction, actually maybe overdone introduction. And he says, I'm in the finance department, so I can't help it. I saw this wonderful, and I'm thinking, how much did that cost? But I think it's a good investment, don't get me wrong. But it's just natural for me, start thinking, how much did you pay for this? But yeah, I think it's a very good idea, and it's a lot better, right? The sound you can actually hear. You know, you make effort to come here to listen and you can't hear. So I think they're going really well with these speakers, and I think it's a very good investment, so well done for that. Anyway, let's do the reading of the shloka first of all. So we're doing 9.4. Just please repeat after me. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avaktya murtina
Jagat Avyakta Murtina.
matsthani sarva bhutani
Sarvabhutani.
nachaham tesha avastitha.
Nachaham Desha Sthita.
Would you just like to read with that young man? You're not prepared, you don't have in front of you. Okay, Achita Prabhu.
Maya tatam idam sarvam
Maya tatam idam sarvam
avyaktamurtina
jagat avyaktamurtina
matsthani sarvabhutani
chaham
tesha avastitah.
chaham tesha avastitha. One of the Matajis.
Maya tatam idam sarvam
Maya tatam idam sarvam
jagat avyakta murtina
jagat avyaktamurtina
matsthani sarvabhutani
matsthani sarvabhutani
nachaham teshvavastita
nachaham tesha avastitha. So Maya,
Maya
by me,
by me
tatam,
tatam
pervaded,
Pervaded.
idam,
Idam.
this, sarvam,
Sarvam.
all, jagat,
jagat
cosmic manifestation,
Cosmic manifestation.
avyakta murtina,
Avyakta Murtina.
by the unmanifested form,
By the unmanifested form.
Matsthani,
Matstani,
in me,
in me,
Sarvabhutani,
Sarvabhutani,
all living entities,
all living entities,
Na,
Na,
not,
not,
Cha also,
Cha also,
Aham I,
I,
Teshu,
Teshu,
in them,
in them,
Avastitha,
Avastita,
situated.
situated.
By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is provided. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. So, Prabhupada gives a purport, and who wants to read the purport?
Supreme Personality of Godhead is not perceivable through the gross material senses. It is said Lord Sri Krishna's name, fame, pastimes, etc. cannot be understood by material senses. Only to one who is engaged in pure devotional service under proper guidance is he revealed. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated, I don't know how you read this one.
Premanchana Shurita Bhakti Vilochanana. I can't see very light. Santa Sandeva Ardeyeshu. Thank you. Are we clear?
One can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, always within himself and outside himself if one has developed the transcendental, loving attitudes towards him. First, for people in general, he is not visible. Here it is said that although he is all-pervading, everywhere present, he is not conceivable by the material senses. This is indicated here by the word but actually, although we cannot see him, everything is resting in him. As we've discussed in the 7th chapter, the entire material cosmic manifestation is only a combination of his two different energies, the superior spiritual energy and the inferior material energy. Just as the sunshine is spread all over the universe, the energy of the Lord is spread all over the creation, and everything is resting in the energy. Yet one should not conclude that because he is spread all over, he has lost his personal existence. To refute such an argument, the Lord says, I am everywhere and everything is in me, but still I am aloof. For example, a king heads a government which is but the manifestation of the king's energy. The different governmental departments are nothing but the energies of the king, and each department is resting on the king's power. But still, one cannot expect the king to be present in every department personally. This is a crude example. Similarly, all the manifestations that we see and everything that exists, both in this material and the spiritual world, are resting in the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The creation takes place by the diffusion of his different energies, and as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Vista Vyaham Idam Krishnam, he is everywhere present by his personal representation, the diffusion of his different energies.
Thank you so much. And there was that verse earlier on, Atha Shri Krishna Namati Nam Bhaved Graham Indriyahi Sarmukhi Jivadao Swayam Eva Spurtiyadam from Bhakti Rasma Sindhu 1.2.234. Thank you, Prabhu. So Sri Prabhupada, he has given us the verse and he has given us the purport to it as well, in explaining what the verse means, but really we just want to expand on what Prabhupada already told us. He's given us the answer, but we want to expand on it. Now some of these verses, they are like puzzling, right? Like this one, pretty puzzling. It's paradoxical, there's contradiction. I think, it's Krishna. How can that be that he's in this and he's not in that, Krishna, so how does that work? So this is, luckily we have that situation, so we get opportunity to do something, say something. Otherwise, we just think, I already read everything, why do I need to listen from you? So, it's there. But you find towards the end why it's necessary to come to Sunday program, to listen to a class and get a better clarification, better understanding of, what the verse is saying, what the purport is saying as well, And so it's good that we're doing that. Now, before we can start discussing the verse in line by line, let's just look at the heading of the chapter. It's called the most confidential knowledge. So how did we get here? That we're in chapter 9 and we got to the most confidential knowledge. So step by step. So first you had confidential knowledge earlier on. And that was around chapter 2, when Krishna was telling Arjuna about the spirit soul. The common man cannot understand that the body is different to the spirit soul. We always think we are this body. We are this body, or this mind. That's the common belief. So it's very difficult for people to understand that we are a spirit soul. But Bhagavad Gita has told us that, Srila Prabhupada has told us that. Now we understand how we are a spirit soul. But that's confidential knowledge. You will not know it by yourself, in other words. You have to find out. And then around chapter 7, Krishna is talking about devotional service. And he's talking about his various energies, superior, inferior energies, like that. Something we don't really know. We will not know unless somebody told us. And that is that's known as the more confidential knowledge. So you got confidential knowledge, then you got more confidential knowledge. And then finally, chapter 9 is the most confidential knowledge. And Krishna says that you can only know, the people who can only know this knowledge who are non-envious. It's about pure devotional service. Right? So verses 1 to 3 are about pure devotional service. And then he goes down 4 to 10 about his inconceivable relationship with this material world. I mean, how would we know that unless Krishna told us this himself on the battlefield? And having said that, even if you're told, you will not understand it if you were an envious kind of person. Why? Because you will not accept it. You have to be non-envious. Krishna told Arjuna that I'm giving you this knowledge because you are non-envious. Otherwise, Arjuna would not have understood it either. Because he was non-envious, he was understanding what Krishna was saying, and in a very short time he understood everything, surrendered to him. And in fact, if we just go back to chapter 7, Krishna, why is he telling him about all these energies and that he's everywhere through his superior energy, inferior energies? Because Krishna has already reached chapter 18 in his head. He wants Arjuna to surrender to him. So he's telling about his greatness. So Arjuna would surrender to him in chapter 18. So Krishna knows what he's doing. He's planned everything, he's arranged everything for Arjuna to surrender, for us to surrender, in other words. So that's that part, the most confidential knowledge. Then we have to understand something about Krishna as well, that he's not bound, restricted by time and space, or space and time. He's not restricted by things like that. And how do we know that? Well, we know from the scriptures that when there was a Ras dance going on, that Ras dance went on for 4.32 billion years. And he just reduced it into one autumn night. Right? For the gopis, it was just one night. But it went on for one Brahma's night, that dance. Because Krishna can control time. He just shrunk it into one night. So he's not controlled by time. And also we say that there is no time in the spiritual world, right? That's what we say. That's what we heard. Actually, there is time in the spiritual world. There is time. Only thing is, time doesn't behave in the spiritual world like it does in the material world. Here, it devours everything, changes everything. We see around us things changing. Things never the same from minute to minute, day to day. See, we look ourselves in the mirror, we see our pictures, how we've changed. Everything changes. Our life has changed. You know, we were at school, looking at school photos, and we're looking at marriage photos, and then grandchildren, you know. Things are always changing, right? All the time things are changing. Time is controlling all these things. But in the spiritual world, time doesn't have that power. Time serves Krishna in a different way. Krishna decides, I want you to expand or I want you to shrink. That's why there's no concept of time in the spiritual world, because it's not constant. It can serve Krishna according to his requirement. That's the beauty of it. So, and also regarding space, that's a time concept. Regarding space, again, if we come back to the Ras dance, Krishna was dancing with each gopi, and the gopi is thinking that he's only dancing with me. How exciting. He said, look, you know, he must love me the most, because they can't see that he's dancing with other gopis as well. Otherwise, you know, that'll be like an even playing field. No, so what? He's dancing with them as well, you know, it's fine. But he's dancing to show that I'm only dancing with you. And they're excited, you know, wow, he's picked me. You know, out of the millions of gopis, he's picked me. So, you know, he can be in so many places at the same time. When he used to take lunch with the gopas, he would be sharing lunch with each gopa. Because sometimes you think, you see the picture, Krishna sitting in the center, and all the gopis are surrounding. We think, well, if I was a gopa, you know, I'd probably be right at the back somewhere. How would I even talk to Krishna or see what he's doing? He's right at the back. No, he was sitting with each gopa individually. But the gopas thinks he's only sitting with me, yet he's sitting with all of them. And then we got the other example, 16,108 wives. Simultaneously, he's living with them. You know, how amazing is that? That he's not controlled by time or space. Now we know, yes, that's God, you know. So when you read this, think, why is the contradiction? God, he can do anything. That's what we got. Krishna can do anything. And there's us. We can be only in one place at one time. Time controls us, right? We have to do things by this time, finish by this time. Time is controlling us. We can only be at one place at one time. But even that has its advantages sometimes. Just imagine you were accused of committing a crime. They ask you, where were you, at this date, at this time? You say, well, I was with my family, I was with my friends, I was at this place, I was at this party. So that's your alibi. Now they ask people, was this person here? Yes, he was. He was definitely here at that time. Okay, that's fine. There you go. Because they know that you cannot be in two places at the same time. So for us, that works out in our advantage, right? You get let off because you have an alibi, you have witnesses. So, because it's understood that we cannot be in two places at the same time. Never mind 16,108 places at the same time. We can't be in two places at the same time. So that's the difference between us and Krishna. Now, Srila Prabhupada explains that people ask him, show me God. And Srila Prabhupada says, well, I tell them about verse 9.4. Krishna says, I'm everywhere. I don't need to tell you. We ask Krishna. He says, I'm everywhere. He's telling himself, I'm everywhere. But we can't see him. Yeah, because you're not purified enough to see him. Verse 7.5, we did earlier. Krishna says, I cover myself with the curtain of Maya. The atheists, the unpurified people, they cannot see me. I don't want them to see me. Right? Whereas the pure devotees see him everywhere. Even though he's unmanifested, they still see Him everywhere. And then there's us. We are trying to become devotees. So we understand that Krishna is everywhere. And one day, we will see how Krishna is everywhere, or we'll see Krishna is everywhere. At the moment, we see how He's everywhere. One day, we will see that He's definitely everywhere. Okay, so I'll come back to this everywhere. Now, thing is, how do we, so what do we need to do? And in the verse, Prabhupada gives everything. He says, 7 mukhi jiva dao. So you serve Him to purify your senses. 7 mukhi jiva dao. Purify your tongue first. Chanting. That's why Mahaprabhu is giving us chanting. He says, chant and take prasad. So Prabhupada said, what's the difficulty? Chant karo, prasad khao. But don't stop there. Obviously, you should do other services. Chant and eat and chant and eat. No. To start with, you can start like that. And then you build up, you add other services to that. And, you progress. The more, quality you do service. It's not about quantity always. The quality service to do selflessly, the more you can advance. And then about being everywhere in an unmanifested form. So we were saying that Maya Tattvam Idam Sarvam, right? Jagat Avyakta Murtina. So he said He's manifested everywhere. And Srila Prabhupada gives example here about the king. He says the king is manifested everywhere. How? Through his agencies or his government, who represent the king. The king is not in all the places all at once, but because he's the king, the government, so in the name of the king, right? They can go anywhere in the name of the king. They're running this, right? Or asking taxes in every king. And we know about the name of the king because when there's colonies built by the Europeans, they would come to your country and say, in the name of Her Majesty or in the name of His Majesty, we're taking over your land and your country. The king is not there, but they're representing the king and they can just take over through his name, your property. So like that. So king is aloof. He's not there. He doesn't know. He's not speaking to anyone, but his agents are speaking. So, this is a very important concept to understand that we'll build on in a minute. And another example Prabhupada is giving is about the sun. How the sun is 93 million miles away. And when the sun comes up over the horizon, the sunshine, which is the energy of the sun, illuminates everything. And it's that sunshine. Prabhuji is always, talking about good weather. The start, introduction of Sunday program. It's very important. We need the sunshine. We need the light. It would be pretty depressing without any sunshine. We need the sunshine sustains us, right? It makes the trees and flowers grow, gives them color. Without sunshine, there would be nothing growing. So sunshine is so important. That's just the energy of the sun, and it's doing that all the way from the 93 miles away. Okay. So there is the sun. There is the sunshine, and there is the presiding deity of the sun, Vivasman. He's also there. So there's three concepts there, 3 aspects to the sun, right? Sun, sunshine, and the presiding deity. Or we would say presiding deity, sun, and the sunshine. Now, if we come to Krishna, so we'll discuss about Krishna. He also has 3 aspects. And those 3 aspects are called the absolute truth. So you have Brahman, you have Paramatma, and you have Bhagwan himself. The Brahman is the effulgence of the Lord. Paramatma is his four-arm form, is Vishnu, who resides in us, in the heart. And also he's present in every atom. It's like mind-boggling to imagine every atom. We're talking about this small, planet. We can't even work out how many atoms there are on this planet. We have so many atoms. We are made of atoms, right? We have so many cells and atoms. And we are carrying unlimited number of souls just in us. Very, very scary. We are carrying a lot of souls with us. We don't just have one soul that's residing in our body. We have so many of the souls. Each cell of our body has a soul. And then the super soul is present with every soul. It's just inconceivable to imagine. So when we are chanting, we are responsible not just for ourselves. We are responsible for every soul that we are carrying in our body. Amazing. And then there's like unlimited number of planets on this universe, and there's unlimited number of universes and unlimited planets, and there's unlimited suns. This one sun, smallest sun probably, can do so much. Just imagine there's so many other suns, so much heat given off just by one sun here. Just imagine how much heat Krishna must possess to allow them to have so much heat. Because everything is coming from his energy. That's all his energy. And it's unlimited. It's not that he's given all his energy to the suns and the planets. He's holding them up in the air. And, he's depleted. I'm tired. He's still same. He's Purnadam. He remains same. Nothing changes with him. That is God. That is Krishna. Now, we talk about the absolute truth. So the Brahman is the partial truth. Paramatma is still a partial truth. Just think, we just told you how many is in every atom, yet it's only partial truth. Bhagwan is the absolute truth. He's the object of our worship. That we give devotion to love to him. That's the object, Bhagwan, with 6 opulences. That's our focus. Now, but if now we just talk about Paramatma. In that expansion, there's 3 Paramatmas who sustain the cosmic manifestation. Actually, they create them. That's just like again these agents, Krishna's agents. They create the cosmic manifestation and sustain it, and even annihilate it when the time comes. And I think we all know what they are. Yeah, Karnadaksha Vishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and Shirodaksha Vishnu. So Karnadaksha Vishnu lies on the coastal ocean, and as he breathes out, unlimited universes are coming out the pores of his body, and then they sort of expand into bigger. And then as the universe develop, then you have the Garbhodaksha Vishnu who's lying on the universal ocean. He takes residence in each universe. So the causal ocean, the Karnadaksha Vishnu, he's the soul of he's a Paramatma for all the universes. Garbhodaksha Vishnu, from whose navel sprouts Brahma in each planet, each universe rather. Brahma is there, and he is the super soul of each universe. So, super soul of all the universes, super soul of each universe, and then Paramatma, the Shirodaksha Vishnu, on the ocean of milk, is lying, is in our heart, and every atom as Shirodaksha Vishnu. There's 3 Vishnus we talk about. These are all, we can't see them, unmanifested, but they are all expansions of Krishna himself. So next, Krishna says that, I know it's probably all confusing at the moment, give me a second. So he says, Matsthani sarva bhutani na chaham tesha vasthita. So I am in everyone. So everyone is in me, but I'm not in everyone, right? This is where I think the confusion begins, right? So everyone's in me. Well, we just discussed that we are on this planet Earth, which is energy of Krishna. We are in this universe. It's the egg, like an egg, yeah, Brahmand. We are. That's again Krishna's energy. We are in that, right? We are, in this cosmic manifestation. That's again energy of Krishna. So yes, definitely we are within Krishna. When Krishna showed Yashodamai, opened his mouth, everything was inside him, right? The whole universe was inside his mouth, right? So we are definitely in him. But that's not the point here. The point is that we are in him means that he maintains us, because that's what the super soul does. It maintains us. Yeah? He's the Anumanta, Uptrishta, and the maintainer as well. So he's the overseer. He's the overseer, and he fulfills all desires as well. He says, yes, you can do this, no, you can't do this. But actually never says you can't do this. He tries, but then he gives in to us. He says, okay, if that's want to do wrong things, you carry on. I'll even inspire you to do it. So we have to be very careful what we desire. So, so Krishna helps, the super soul helps us in that way. So I'm just trying to get my train of thought here. So he maintains us, and the example is given that like a rich person living inside a house maintains, he's the guest, but he maintains the family by paying for the everyday upkeep, the bills and everything. So he said, like that, I maintain everyone. I maintain you. Everything you do, but everything even your breathing, I'm maintaining everything. I maintain you. But then he says, but I'm not in you. When you think about super soul is in us, he says, you are in me, means that he's maintaining us. But then he says, I'm not in you. That means we are not maintaining him, because he's self-sufficient, he's reliable. Right? So he's maintaining us, we're not maintaining him. But like I said, you would think, well, I just said the super soul is inside us, so how is he not inside us? When he says, I'm not in you. So we have to think of the concept of maintenance rather than him physically being within us. Then even if you think about the concept of him being within us, he's saying, I'm not in there personally. This is the example why we gave of the sun and the government. Srila Prabhupada gave the examples that the sun is not here, the sunshine is here. The king is not everywhere, his name, his power, his position is everywhere. They even go to, like I said, other countries and push the luck, with the position of the king that you never even heard of. Right? So like that. So Krishna says, I'm not personally present in you. My expansions, my energies are within you, but I am not, I'm aloof. He has other things to do. He's not present inside us. If you ask Krishna for protection, he'll say, I'm doing something, please go and ask Narasimhadev to help you. That's my department, my expansion, you can ask him for help. Krishna, he doesn't say, I'll come down personally. But he probably would do if he wanted to, but he's independent. He's Sabharat. He doesn't have to, because he has his government, his departments everywhere. So if you want protection, you can go to Narasimhadev. That's why we sing Narasimharti. Right? Because he has Narasimhadev to protect us. He doesn't have to come down and protect us himself. So this is amazing. Now, I hope it's clear. So we talk about Krishna's expansion. Then Prabhupada is explained in the purport as well, but we really got to examine it, what's going on. So it's his expansions that are here. Krishna himself is in the Goloka Vrindavan. He does not leave Goloka Vrindavan. And it's a fact, he does not leave from there. His energies, his expansions, that's how he maintains, sustains, and highlights everything. He can become Shiva. He can become Brahma. It can be anything he wants, right? When there's no position, he can become Indra, just by his agencies, through his energies. So it's this terminology is the confusion. Yeah, just give me a second.
Sound effects.
There are other places where Krishna uses terminology that when you're reading Bhagavad Gita, it can be quite confusing. Like when he's talking about, at times in the Bhagavad Gita, he says, you surrender to him or you meditate on him. And I've read that, I'm thinking, why is Krishna saying this? Meditate on him, surrender to him. I thought you should say surrender to me. Always. Why does he say on him? Anybody notice that? Yeah? Prabhu? Have you noticed that? Ajita Prabhu? On him. Who is him? He's talking like third person. And have I missed something here? Who are you talking about? So, the point is, when he's talking about the super soul, he's talking about him. When he's talking about Bhagwan, then he says me. This is why in chapter 18, he says, surrender to me. He says to Arjun, surrender to me. Give up all other religions, surrender to me. So when he's referring to Bhagwan, that's what we have to understand. When he's talking about Bhagwan, then it's me. When it's super soul, then it's him. So very important to understand that. And then there's other cases like, just trying to talk about terminology here, so you understand where this verse is coming from. Chapter 2, Sthita Pragya, the man in Krishna consciousness. How does he speak? How does he sit? How does he walk? I think, well, what do you mean, how does he speak? Are you talking about like what language does he speak? Or does he speak really fast or slow? Loud, very loud? What do you mean? How does he speak and how does he sit? Well, does he sit on a chair or a sofa or a floor? What does it mean? How does he sit? And then how does he walk? Fast walking, slow walking? He's doing his, what do they call that in the park when they're walking?
Power jog, power jog.
Power walking. How does he walk? Why you want to know all these things? But it's the terminology. How does a Krishna conscious person speak, sit, and walk? How does he speak means that when he's squeezed, when he's into a disturbing position, what comes out of his mouth? We can all be very nice, Prabhuji, Mataji, but when they wind us up, then we let them have it. Sometimes, even on the phone, some people, maybe sometimes even understand and misunderstand what they're trying to tell you. You want to let them have it because they're winding you up. So how does he speak? What words come out of their mouth when they are provoked? That's what that means. And how does he sit? Means how does he control his senses? That's the kind of things you want to know. How does a pure devotee speak? How does he control his senses? How is it called a Goswami? Right? How does he control his senses? That's we don't want to know whether he sits on a sofa or on the floor or chair. We don't want to know. We want to know how does he control his senses. That's the point. Right? How does he keep his discipline all the time? How? How is he calm? We can't be calm. How is it? And then how does he walk? Means that while he's controlling all his senses, while he's in discipline, then how does he carry out his everyday activities? Because we are, like I said, easily provoked. How does he carry out his activities while being disciplined, while keeping his senses in control? Because these senses, they're wild, like serpents. They're wild. They can easily mislead you, very easily. And Maya knows where to, hit you. It will provide situations where your senses will take over. So that's what that means. So these terminologies, we don't know. We don't know what they mean. Somebody has to tell us, right? In the first chapter, first page, it says, Prabhupada says that you hear Bhagavad Gita from a devotee because you will not be able to work it out yourself, because we don't understand, we can't decode it. It's not the Vedas nobody can decode. You need like many years. We don't have that much lifetime that we can decode the Vedas. Right? But if we can't even decode this Bhagavad Gita is for everyone. It's for non-devotees as well. Right? Everybody can read Bhagavad Gita. We are out on the street giving Bhagavad Gitas to everyone. But we can't understand it. We need a devotee to explain to you what these terminologies mean. That's what I was saying earlier. This is why we have a Sunday program. So somebody can check up, do the research with Srila Prabhupada and other seniors, Sadhu, Guru, Shastra, check and then try to explain what this verse actually means. This is why it's very important to come to programs. Because we could be reading by ourselves. We will not know whether we're reading wrong or right. Young man here playing Mridanga, unless somebody tells him, you're hitting this wrong place or wrong speed or wrong force, he won't know. He might not know himself. Somebody has to tell him. It's like that, everything. Somebody who knows has to tell you. This is why you have the parampara. And if somebody asks us, what Shastra do you read? We say, we don't read Shastra, we have a whole library. Isn't it? When you go to Veda base, it says library. It doesn't say one Shastra. We don't have just one Shastra, we have the whole library behind us. We have the whole parampara behind us. Not just Guru, we have the whole parampara. We just had Vyas Puja of His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj, Guru Maharaj. And when we do the Vyas Puja, we do the Pranam Mantra to all the parampara. Why? Because it represents the parampara. We are not just doing Vyas Puja to a Guru, we are doing to the whole parampara. They're all connected like a train. They're all connected. So we should be grateful. We have the whole parampara on our side. All that knowledge, whether it's Bhakti Thakur or Vishwanath Chakravarti, all that knowledge is passed on and on to each other to explain to us. Srila Prabhupada took this knowledge from the parampara, from Rupa Goswami, and to write his purports. So it's like that. So I'll stop here. I hope it's a bit clearer than what this verse is saying. I think in this chapter the verses are quite confusing, but there is an answer to them, but it's not an obvious answer. You have to understand. So how he maintains us, he says that I maintain you, you don't maintain me, right? You are in me, I'm not in you. Thank you much. Prabhupada ki jai.
Sure.
Thank you, Narayan Keshava Prabhu. If anybody has any questions or any doubts,